And what's up, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Monday, Gamecock Nation. This is your Firehouse Subs Lunch with Jaylan Foster. I'm Wes Mitchell. He is Chris Clark. And joined today, it is South Carolina super senior Jaylan Foster, safety, leading the Gamecocks in tackles, leading the world in interceptions. I don't know if that's a fact, but we're just going to say he is. Huge year so far. Of course, first of all, we do want to thank all the Columbia Firehouse locations for sponsoring this lunch with Jaylan Foster. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you see them all right there. No matter where you are in Columbia, promise you there's a Firehouse close by. So appreciate them sponsoring this and having South Carolina senior Jaylan Foster here with us. Jaylan, man, we appreciate the time. Big year for you so far. Congrats on the success so far, man. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thank y'all for having me on the show, man. Thank y'all.
Yeah. We're looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to, by the way, if you're a Gamecock fan that's in the chat right now, we will be taking some questions throughout the show. So throw some of them in there. We want to pop them on the screen and let Jaylan talk with you. And this is, it's going to be a laid back conversation. We're just going to hang out for a little while, talk some ball, let Jaylan talk a little bit about his story. And, by the way, one of the very first comments, we got a shout out from Jaylan's mom. So shout out to Miss Foster. Jaylan, do you let's start. Let's be sentimental for a moment. Let's start. Do you want to say some words for your mom showing the support today, man?
Yeah, that's my number one fan. I love her to death. Couldn't do it without her. I love her.
Yeah, so shout out to Jaylan's mom. Jaylan, let's start with the obvious, man. What has been different this year? I mean, obviously, you sort of stepped in and played quite a bit last year. I think maybe started half the games, played in a bunch of games. You were put on scholarship last year, but this year, man, it's like you've taken it to another level. Did you foresee this coming in? Did you sort of sense it that, man, I'm about to take off this year? Or, what has just been the difference in your eyes with you sort of taking that next step this year, man?
I kind of felt it. The work I put in this summer, I did those things that helped me prepare the right way. So when the season came, I was able to go out there and play at the highest level. Built confidence in myself with my training, and the strength staff did a great job this offseason with us. So, those things helped me get ready for the year.
Yeah, and Jaylan, I definitely want to talk a lot about this season, but first area I wanted to go to was you just had such an interesting journey, like to get to USC, right? And to get to this point, you had a really good career at Burns High School, Shrine Bowler, All-State guy, right? You spend your first year at Gardner-Webb. So take us through that time. That was 2016, right? That was your first year at Gardner-Webb. This is actually your sixth year playing college football. So tell us a little bit about the decision, your first year at Gardner-Webb, that experience, and why you decided to walk away from a scholarship to walk on at South Carolina and take that opportunity.
Going into Gardner-Webb, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. I felt like I deserved a bigger shot, a bigger opportunity to play, at a higher level. And, I kind of took it and put a chip on my shoulder going to Gardner-Webb, just showing the world like I am able to play at the highest level as a DB. And, when I got there, I wanted to dominate everything I did. So that's kind of what my mindset was there. And then, the decision, it was kind of easy. After that first year, I felt confident in my game. I was kind of still new to defensive back. So, that first season was kind of helping me get my feet under me. And, after I did that, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely capable of doing this at a higher level for sure.
So when that process took place, did the portal exist yet, or the transfer portal wasn't around yet?
Nah, see, when I did it, it was you had to go to the coach and you had to tell him a certain amount of schools that you were interested in transferring to. So I had to do all that. And then, from there, it was kind of like a waiting game to see if I was able to get in those schools.
So what was that process like, Jaylan, as far as, ending up at South Carolina? Was it kind of like, being an in-state guy, you had always wanted to be at South Carolina, or were there some connections there? Were there some friends at South? What was sort of just the process of you kind of deciding, hey, if I'm going to take this leap, I want it to be with the Gamecocks, man?
Really, it was just I wanted to stay in state. I always dreamed of playing for a team in South Carolina. And I had connections down here in Columbia, so I kind of just put those connections to work. And when the time came, this was the place for me.
What was that period hard in terms of getting to South Carolina, running a lot of scout team, early in your career, playing mostly on special teams, and having to wait around for that scholarship? Because obviously you bet on yourself and it's paid off, leaving Garner Webb. But what was that process like, kind of waiting around for something good to happen on the scholarship front and on the playing time front?
It was hard, most definitely. Just as a kid, your dream was always being to play at the highest level. So when I did it, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. Patience, that's the biggest thing I learned. You got to be patient and wait for the opportunity. It was hard, but I made sure, I was getting myself prepared. So when the time did come, I was ready to go.
So can you take us back to maybe the moment you learned you were going to go on scholarship? Just give us a little background. Was it kind of like, I expect this is coming, and then you got it, or was it a complete surprise? Like maybe just tell the listeners out there the story behind when you learned the news, and just like your immediate reaction from teammates for what was, I'm sure, like probably one of the best days of your football life. I would imagine, man.
So it's crazy because Jalen Dickerson and RJ Roderick, they actually had kept telling me like all summer, like, yo, it's coming. Like the work you've been putting in it's paying off. It's coming. And after fall camp practice, first week before Tennessee, like Coach Muschamp just called me out. He was like, "You on scholarship now?" And I don't know, like my heart kind of dropped. I was so excited, but it was just like, yeah, I knew, I knew this day would come. I just wasn't prepared for the moment. I honestly wasn't even prepared.
Who was your first call to once you learned? We've seen some of that on some of the videos that USC's put out where somebody's calling their mom, calling a family member. Who'd you call, and what was their reaction?
Well, it's crazy because I actually called my mom and dad, but like they had already knew. Somebody had leaked the video, so I was like, I thought I was the first one to tell them, but they had already knew. So it was kind of like, we already know, but we happy for you. And I was like, dang, somebody took that moment away from me.
So word spread fast.
Yeah, real fast. Yeah.
Then you play last year. Probably a weird year for all of you with COVID and protocols, 10-game SEC schedule. Then go through the coaching change. Coach Beamer comes in. You I guess sort of had a decision there, man, because you use your extra year. I guess you're like a super senior now. Some people call it. What was it a no-brainer, or was there like an actual sort of discussion? Do I come back for this final year? Do I spend this final year somewhere else because there's a new, almost all new coaches coming in? What was that like? I'll say it like this: what was that like, just going through a coaching change when you're like probably seeing all the reports out there? This guy might be coming, but you're kind of just hanging out like, I got my life to look out for here.
Mm-hmm. To me, it was no burner for me. I always, like I said, I always wanted to play for a team in state, and getting that little experience last year, it was an amazing feeling being able to represent this state and my hometown. It gave a lot of those people back home a chance to see me play. I love that. So for me, it was no brainer. I was just waiting on meeting the coach, whoever it was, sitting down with him and seeing what his plans were for me. And, but like I said, it was no brainer for me.
What were those initial conversations like? I mean, do you kind of remember the first conversations you had with Shane Beamer, or even with Torian Gray? I mean, what were those like? What was the message that they delivered to you, and what were the conversations like?
Yeah, Coach Beamer, when I met him, we kind of hit it off good at first. Just both football minded. We both love the game of football, so we kind of hit it off. But he just told me, he believed and trusted me to be the leader, a leader of the defense, a leader of the secondary. Just do the things I have to do in the off season to be able to help this team in the fall.
So then fast forward a little bit. Then we're in spring practice, or we're getting ready for spring practice. Coach Clayton White comes in, says, "This is my scheme. I'm installing it. This 4-2-5." Not to say anything about the scheme last year or anything, but what have the differences been for you guys as far as learning this scheme, getting comfortable? It seems to me, just outside looking in, Jaylan, that the guys are really able to play fast in this scheme, and maybe y'all have picked it up pretty quickly for it to be the first year in this scheme. What is it about the way y'all do things that has let y'all sort of not have to think on the field and sort of just go react and make some plays, man?
First of all, the coaches did a great job in the offseason. We met extra a lot, just making sure that we picked up the new system real good. So when the fall came, we didn't have no questions or no doubts. We was able to play fast, but they do a great job each week, making sure that we understand each job. Our job in the defense. So when we get to game time, it's just out there playing, having fun, man, and that's what helped us. We're not really thinking too much. The scheme is kind of easy attack. So when we on the field, that's all we thinking, just attack.
Tell us a little bit about, without giving away anything. I know you're not going to give away, trade secrets about playing safety in Coach White's scheme, but tell us a little bit about, just in general, the safety's responsibilities in this scheme. What you're tasked with as kind of the leader back there as far as making calls and adjustments and stuff like that?
So for me, I'm just in charge of making sure everybody in the secondary gets the call. I'm more the strong safety, so I'm to the field a lot of the time. So I have the task of giving the field corner and the nickel the calls and making sure we're on the same page. But me, I'm just like the security blanket, just making sure nothing gets behind me. That's basically my job, just make sure nothing gets behind me. And when I see a play, I see something, I figure something out, just go make a play.
Jaylan, you sort of mentioned it right then, but I was about to go that direction. How interchangeable are the two safety spots within this scheme? Like, are guys playing? Are guys capable of playing both, or is it more like, hey, we're slotting you at this one, learn this one, and just make sure you have it dialed in? And kind of how different are the two spots? Like, I guess in responsibilities on a given play.
I say it's interchangeable. Actually, I started at free safety, the boundary safety, at the beginning of the year, and RJ started at the strong safety to the field, and then we kind of switched. So it's both guys got to be able to play both. The boundary is more run fits, and the field is more dealing with the pass, things like that, and out the box. The boundary is in the box a lot, but it's not really a lot of difference. Both sides kind of got the same job.
I was going to bring up your ball skills that you've shown, Jaylan. Obviously, you showed that at Gardner-Webb. Once you got to South Carolina and you've come into your own here at South Carolina, that's been an area that's really stood out, is getting interceptions, getting your hands on balls. Is there kind of an art to that? Is it more of like knowing where to be? Because you've had a knack for being in the right place at the right time this year. Is that film study? Is it just a natural kind of God-given thing, a little bit of both?
I say a little bit of both. I kind of harp on my film study. I make sure I do that a lot. So when I get in the game, the game is much easier. I don't have to think. But also God, man, he's blessed me with tremendous ability. So, I gotta give him the credit for that. And also, I played receiver in high school, so that's kind of a natural thing for me.
So, Jaylan, by the way, we got another shout out on here for Pat Watson, maybe a friend of yours or your cousin, maybe it looks like.
That's my cousin. What up, cuz?
Okay, yes, the Jaylan Foster fan club is showing support today, man. That's awesome to see. So by the way, everybody in here, you can send in your questions. We're gonna pick some for Jaylan. Just throw it in the little chat if you're on Facebook or YouTube, wherever. You can throw it in the chat. We had a question on here, and it was a question I had for you as well. So, and I don't know the exact rules. I know the coaches like can't talk about refs calls and stuff. So, Jaylan, let's just say hypothetically, if there was a football that looked like it either did or did not touch the ground on this past Saturday, and I didn't have an angle to tell, would you say that that football hypothetically touched the ground or did not touch the ground?
Nah, it didn't touch the ground. I thought I was gonna come up with an interception, so I bobbled it up in the air, so that's how I know it didn't touch the ground. But the refs called it incomplete, so I can't do nothing with that.
I was gonna say, so you like you said, you batted that one up, but how many? You had one interception definitely taken off the board, right, in game one. Is that the only one, or was there more than one that you had wiped out?
That's the only one.
That's the only one. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, man, when you have fun on the field.
Oh yeah.
Like you got that smile going on the field. With the pick, I still remember the pick. We've got some pictures of you on Gamecock Central. Like, is the football field? Is that kind of like? It seems like your happy place, man.
Yeah, man. Anything dealing with football, man, that's my happy place, man. That's one of the things that make me happy. I feel like a little kid when I'm out there, just running around having fun. I kind of, when I'm on the field, man, I kind of forget about everything else that's going on and just have fun. Just have fun.
Did the one that got wiped out that you scored on, did you bust out some like some Deion Sanders high step into the end zone, or you were doing some moves into the end zone? It looked like, man, what was that?
Yeah, I was trying to tightrope the sideline and kind of give a little high step, trying to do a little celebration, but also get in the end zone at the same time.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
Appreciate it.
So you mentioned earlier that you really like film study, and Wes and I cover all the prospect camps, in the summer in June. Coach Beamer, obviously his first set of summer camps back in June this year. And you were one of the guys out there that was helping some of the campers, teaching them techniques. To me, that, combined with how you like studying film, is coaching in your future after the game.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I just, I like the X's and O's of it, but I also like helping other people. Especially this summer, it gave me a great opportunity to work with a lot of young men who don't get the experience of being on a college campus. Also working with college players, so I kind of loved it. It kind of made me excited. I was waking up for those counts, early, getting myself together, just because I love it. I just love being able to help young people get better in life, not only football, but better in life.
We got another shout out here from Miss Marie Jackson Moore. Says she's known you since you were 4 years old, man. She's loving your smile. Says you're a wonderful young man. So again, we got the whole fan club on here. Shout out to Miss Marie. Jaylan, Chris, you want to do some of those superlatives like we did last time? Get Jaylan to talk about some teammates a little bit.
Had it on my list.
Okay, let's hit those, man. Now I know you're playing safety, so it's maybe there's not a lot of like one-on-one coverage responsibilities, but I'm sure y'all still do one-on-ones in practice. So who at receiver, or who are the couple of guys at receiver that is going to be the toughest matchup for you as far as teammates go? Who when you see over there, you're like, all right, I got to step my game up a little bit for this rep.
I give a couple. Josh Van, of course, he's doing a tremendous job this year. He loves to compete. DeCarrion Joyner is another guy who loves to compete. So, then EJ Jenkins, he's a big guy. So, you kind of have to step your game up for him. And also Nick Muse, man, people might think he's kind of slow, but man, he got some moves. He got some moves on him now. I'm not gonna lie, he got some moves. And also Jaheim Bell, he's a tremendous athlete. He does it all. So those guys right there, I kind of have to be like, okay, yeah, it's time to put on your A game right here.
So just to make sure, you are not saying that Nick Muse is slow.
No. Some people
might say that.
I know. I go against him every day, so I know what he can do.
We're just gonna make sure, so we might need to bring in Nick, and y'all can hash that out just to make sure. Yeah, all right. So you mentioned earlier how you played receiver in high school, 1,400 all-purpose yards. as a senior at Burns High, and I want to go to Burns High and talk about that connection a little bit later too. But could you line up against some of your defensive back teammates right now and put a little move on them and get open? Do you think you could help out a little bit there?
Oh yeah, of course, man. Once a receiver, always a receiver, man. I try to tell him that every now and then. Like I still do it to him now. I do it to him.
No opportunities in practice lately, though.
Nah. I'm gonna talk to Coach Beamer about that one though. Got to.
Chris, you noticed there was no hesitation. Like you didn't even finish that question, and Jaylan's over there like, "Oh yeah, I got it."
I wasn't going to put him quite on the spot. I mean, you do have to play with these guys on the same side of the ball and not be arguing. So I wasn't going to say which guys could you do up the most. We'll leave that one out. We'll just go to another category. So.
Who we asked Jaheim this too. Who's the fastest guy or guys on this team, man? Like who's maybe going to beat everybody if we line this thing up?
That's a tough one right there. I don't know, because there's a few people who claim they're the fastest, and they haven't lined it up yet. So I don't know. I can't give you an answer, but I will say Xavier Legette can run, AB can run, Cam Smith, Darius Rush, those guys, they can run. So I don't know. I want them to line it up. I don't know though.
Hey, were you on the field or on the sideline when Jordan Birch took that ball to the house early this year?
Oh, I was on the sideline. I was
on the sideline. But so you still had an up close view, man. What were you thinking? Because I've always known Jordan. I saw him play at Hammond. I knew he was fast, but to me, it was something about him seeing that end zone. It was another level. What was your view of that play, man?
Oh my gosh! Like what? Like I'm telling you, you think y'all talk about LeBron, Jordan Birch is kind of one of those guys. Like the things he can do. Oh man, he's a freakish athlete. He's fast. He can catch, tackle, run the ball. Like when I seen him take off, I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know he can run like this. But yeah, he can run. He definitely can run.
So coaching superlative on this one, and what got me thinking about it was when Jordan Strong got that interception against Vandy, Mike P took off down the sideline. Now, Mike P, he looks like he could still play. He played 14 years in the league. Coach Beamer always likes to talk about how the defensive staff had a few guys who played in the league, could line up and play. Best athlete who's a coach still on the team. What would you say?
Be very careful, I feel like, with this one, Jaylan.
Yeah, I might cause you some problems. Torian might get his feelings hurt a little bit if you don't say him. But
I'm not gonna say Coach Gray. Coach Gray, he kind of. I say probably Mike P. Coach Mike P. might be him and Coach Hardesty and Coach Step. Not probably the top three. Though I think those guys still got it in them.
Yeah, Mike P. Though, man, he just built a little different.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. He's built different. Yeah.
He's got the Buck Life thing going on.
Yeah.
But so you played some basketball in high school too?
Yes, sir. Right? Yes, sir.
How were we good at basketball as well?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got all state my senior year, won state championship my senior year also. So yeah, I'm pretty good. I would say that was my first love. So definitely good on the court.
So you had a pretty fun high school life.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You're
playing, state championships in basketball. You're playing at Burns football is just in this state. The support is incredible. But we asked Jaheim as well. If you're building a starting five on this team, on your teammates to go play some basketball. Do you have off the top of your head, like, do you play with some of the guys a decent amount?
Yeah, I got a starting five. One be me. I'll be at the point.
Okay.
Josh Van would be at the 2. I think I put Birch at the 4. Let me see who I'll go with at the 3. That's a tough one. I'm getting on some of them. I'll probably put Cam Smith. He's a good defender, so I need him at the 3 spot locked down some. Then the 5, I put EJ just because he's big, so I need that.
Jaheim did the same thing. He had EJ at the 5, Jordan Birch definitely made the team. I think Josh Van made the team. I think Cam Smith, you're going a little more on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think with this 5. Who's going to be the leading scorer? Is it going to be you, or are you going to
I
distribute?
give it to Josh. I'll let Josh handle the scoring. Josh, man, he's the one I probably say give me my toughest run on the court.
Is Josh? Is he have the outside game or just well rounded or?
Yeah, well rounded. You know, he can do it all. Shoot the 3, get to the hole. So that's probably my toughest matchup on the court for sure.
I think you and Jaheim had a very similar team. Jaheim did pick EJ. I think he had Jordan at the 3,
mm-hmm.
and then I think he had Josh as a guard. I don't think Jaheim picked Jaylan.
It's okay. See, the young guys, they don't really know. You know, I done got old, so I don't deal with them. But the older guys, they know the deal.
There you go.
But Jaylan didn't pick Jaheim either. So kind of. Speaking of Jaheim, though, in all seriousness, what has that been like, man? Obviously, he's on a different side of the ball from you, but I'm watching this kid sort of. It feels like he's like coming into his own. He does so many different things on offense. He can run, but he's got size. He just chunked that Vandy dude like straight off of him on early Saturday. What do you see from Jaheim, man?
He's a dog. I use it to describe him. He's a dog. He's a guy who can do it all. Like I said, he can get in the backfield, run the ball. He can catch. He can block. He's a guy who he returned kids this past Saturday, man. He's a guy who just when he get on the field, he loves to compete. He's determined not to get tackled. He's determined to beat the man in front of him, and I love that about him.
So I want to go back to Cam Smith and maybe some of your other former teammates too, but you know, Cam's a guy that's made some plays, obviously, battled a little bit of injury this year. But you mentioned how good of a defender he is on the hardwood. Obviously, he has that mentality at corner too. But what have you seen from Cam as a young player, and how good do you think he can ultimately be as he continues to progress?
He's a guy that loves to compete. I think as a defensive back, you have to be able to you have to love to compete. He's a guy who loves that. He's a guy who loves to learn. You know, he's a guy who just, you know, every time he's on the field, he's somebody like me. You know, he have fun. He loves to make a play and talk junk, let you hear about it. But, you know, I love that because it's a little dog in him. But, you know, he has to keep going, you know, just improving his game all around, you know, being able to tackle, you know, cover, you know, be inside, outside, you know, do everything, you know, that's what makes a great defensive back. And, you know, he does those things, he's going to be very good.
You mentioned earlier, Jaylan, that you're in charge of sort of getting the guys lined up, making some calls in the secondary. I know, obviously, a home game, the offense sort of benefits from that. You know, your crowd is not talking and stuff, and the crowd's getting pumped up when you guys are on defense, trying to keep the offense from communicating, obviously. But from like a very literal sense, what is it like being on the field at Williams-Brice Stadium? Let's say like Kentucky game, when that place is jam-packed, massive fourth quarter game, SEC game, crowds going nuts. How do you literally, how do you communicate with the guys around you? Can they hear you? Can you hear them? Is it hand signals or how exactly does that work?
You know, I tell a lot of people that it's not as hard as you think. You know, people can hear you on the field, you know, because they're close to you, but for him, for field corner, you know, they're kind of on the opposite sideline. So you have to use hand signal. You also have to trust the nickel, who's somebody close to me, have to pass the call to him also. But, you know, it's not very hard as people think, you know, especially for us, kind of since it's our home crowd, we're kind of used to it. So, you know, those things don't really play a factor in it.
Jaylan, favorite play to make? Because I was going through and thinking about your season so far, and you've made all of these types of plays. Interception, okay, strip sack, or just how about a big open field tackle? Let's say a little tunnel screen, and you beat a blocker, and you go and just tackle a guy for a 3-yard loss. What's your favorite play to make?
Oh, that's tough. I have to say the interception, man. I'm a receiver at heart, like I said. So every time I get the ball in my hands, man, I love that feeling right there. I would say that the tackle though in open field, that's also a great feeling too.
Is that a part of your game you feel like has maybe steadily improved, man? Because it seems like, again, outside looking in, but it seems like once I don't even know how to describe it. Once you diagnose it, there's no hesitation. Like you're getting squared up. You're going to the football. That's something that to me is like a veteran safety thing. Sometimes you see safeties are a little hesitant to get up in there. You have been aggressive, but under control. Does that just come from experience, comfortability, or how do you sort of get to that point as a player to feel that comfort level doing that?
Yeah, comfortability plays a big part, but Coach Gray, he does a great job. He always tells us, just go. When you see the play, just go. Don't break down, nothing like that. Just go, play aggressive. Then also with Coach Gray, he does a great job breaking their schemes down. He helps us out a lot throughout the week, gives us tips and stuff. And I just try to follow those to my best ability. And when I see it, man, I just go.
Yeah, good stuff. Tell us a little bit about pass rush, right? Because they've used you a little bit as a pass rusher. I remember, I think it was the Troy game is when you had the strip sack, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of the art of getting timed up there? Because obviously, sometimes there's corner blitzes, nickel blitzes, safety. You came off the edge in that Troy game. What's kind of the tricks of the trade there as far as is it just experience and, like Wes said earlier, getting comfortable?
Again, both. Just doing practice, just working on those things, making sure, throughout the week you kind of play with it a little bit and see which one feels the best, which one you have best success with, and then you take that into Saturday's game and that's the one you kind of do.
Again, we want to thank Firehouse Subs for sponsoring this discussion with Jaylan. And I'll tell you what, advertising works because we sat here with Jaheim last week and I stared at that Firehouse Subs logo right there. And then the next day for lunch, I was in there and I got it was whatever one Jaheim sold us on this. Is it the Bacon Ranch?
Chicken bacon.
So I was in there ordering the dadgum sub over here on Garners Ferry Road, man. So Jaylan, tell us your Firehouse order. What are you going for? What's the top pick? And again, we appreciate Firehouse Subs here in Columbia, man.
I'm definitely going with a hook and ladder. That it kind of got a little bit of both types of meat on it. I think that thing right there is filling, man. If you just look at that picture right there, make you want to go to Firehouse right now and eat on it right now. Look real good, real good.
Jaylan, you did a good job selling that, man. Wes, come on, man. God. Now I'm about to go to Firehouse after this. Oh, well, that's fine. That's what we're here for. Yeah, appreciate Firehouse Subs hooking up this another lunch with Jaylan Foster. Jaylan, you started your career as a corner, right? And we've talked about the ball skills. You have the receiver background. Take us through the decision, whoever's decision it was, or kind of how that happened of transitioning from playing corner at Gardner-Webb to getting to South Carolina, and then eventually, you switch over to where you're playing safety, which is where you're at now.
So I have to credit Coach T-Rob last year. I played a lot of corner nickel still last year, and then he came to me and was like, with your capability, like your mental part of the game, you're very versatile. So we think, safety probably is what, you would help us out there the best at safety. And I was just like, I was kind of hesitant because I always been a corner. But then once I got to safety and I was seeing how I was making plays, I was like, yeah, I think safety is the spot for me for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So you mentioned also scout team earlier. Like you played a good bit of scout team earlier in your South Carolina career. We get a lot of questions about scout team and like what exactly it means. Can you kind of like encapsulate that experience of like, how is it playing scout team? What are you doing on a daily basis? Like, how can you improve your own skill set within the defense to where you're scratching and clawing to try to get on the field while you're still helping the team and the guys that are going to be playing more prepare for the next opponent?
Mm-hmm. So basically, you're going against the offense. You're simulating the other team's defense, their schemes and things like that. And for me, basically, I was just, working on those schemes that they was telling us to work on, but also paying attention to my craft as well. Like playing the ball down the field, being in phase, out of phase, finishing on the ball carrier, things like that. The little things, like the scheme doesn't matter when it comes to those things. But scout team, you just, like I said, you just simulating the other team's defense for the offense, giving them the best look, helping them prepare for Saturday.
Jaylan, sorry. Tell us about your experience at Burns a little bit more. You won a state title there in basketball, as you said, great football program there. Who are some of the guys? Were there any that, like, former Gamecock athletes that came from Burns that, you kind of looked up to? We have Nick Jones, do some writing for us. Obviously a really productive receiver. Marcus Lattimore was there. Seems like a pretty tight-knit football community there. So which guys, do you know and did you kind of keep in contact with?
Marcus and Nick. To this day, I still keep in contact with both of them. Marcus was here on staff for a little bit, so our relationship grew a little bit more when he was here. But both of those guys, they kind of been role models to me since I was a kid. Just being in that community, watching those guys play football, seeing the success they had at Burns, then on the next level. It also motivated me to want to do those things and follow their footsteps.
You mentioned coaching earlier and how you may want to get into coaching. Are you still retail management was your major, right? Aside from coaching maybe being in your future, any particular path that you're thinking you want to take after football, or is it absolutely 100%, you're going all in on trying to be a coach somewhere?
Yeah, 100% coaching. That's just something I've had a knit for since I was little. Just being around the game of football, like I said earlier, just that kind of excites me. So, coaching definitely is what I want to get into. High
school level, college, pros eventually, or just whatever comes your way?
I think college. I like the midpoint between high school and the pros. College, you still have a chance to help develop somebody's skill sets. Necessarily high school is kind of more run around football, but when you get to college, you kind of have to harp in on the techniques and things like that.
So obviously in college, one thing that I'm sure got to do some recruiting. As a coach, you got to be involved in that. Jaheim last week was bragging on his recruiting ability. So have you gained any experience like hosting some prospects or anything like that to where you think, yeah, I'm going to be a pretty good recruiter when I become a college coach?
This summer during the camps, I kind of gave a little some tours after the camp. That kind of gave me a little experience. But I think I'm gonna be good with it. Just because I have a good personality, I can connect with those guys real good.
You see yourself being, do you have a particular aspiration of, what you want to do as far as coaching? Because some guys are kind of like Torian Gray's a good example. He's for the most part been a DB's coach. Some guys move up to a defensive coordinator. Some have head coaching aspirations. Do you have a feel for that right now?
Yeah, I think I want to do secondary, but also be a defensive coordinator. I don't think I want to do head coach. That's a lot on your plate. But I love to be a defensive coordinator for sure.
What would your defense be right now if you had to say, like, let's say, Jaylan?
I like that question.
You get to draw up your own defensive scheme. Your playbook's completely blank. Is your scheme, like, what are you coming up with? What's kind of your identity there?
Not to get on Coach White's playbook, but I think something like that because it's real aggressive. I like it. Not a lot of sitting back, just going at the opponent. So I think I kind of would copy after that.
Have y'all enjoyed that aspect of it, Jaylan? Just kind of not sitting back.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's fun. You see a lot of guys flying around on the field. That scheme kind of lets us do that. So most definitely.
All right, so looking forward, Jaylan, we're getting close to letting you get on out of here so you can go get yourself a Firehouse sub, and Wes and I too. But looking forward to the rest of this season, man. We're past the midway point, which is crazy, right? This year has absolutely flown by. But how do you feel like you guys have progressed just as a defense from game one and the comfort level and everything to now? where are you guys at as a defense, you think?
I think we still have room for improvement. I think it's still some big plays that we would like to cut down on, but other than that, I think we're real farther along than I thought. We playing great football on the defensive side, and like I said, I just wish we could cut down some of the explosive plays, and after that, I think we'll be real good.
We do have a quick question here from T. Shout out to T. They want to know who is the hardest offensive player to tackle. You could take that two ways, either just maybe a teammate in practice, or is there anybody you faced this year, like an opponent that you thought was, especially difficult? You can go either direction, I guess, with that, man.
I'm not going to do teammate because then I might offend some people. So I'm gonna do hardest opponent. I'll say Chris Rodriguez for Kentucky, 24 running back. I think he's probably the hardest one. He gets a lot of after contact yards, so definitely him.
All right, Jaylan. Yeah, appreciate you, man, very much for doing this today. Wes, got anything else? I think
I'm good. I think I'm about to go to Firehouse and get my lunch, man.
the hook and ladder. So Jaheim Bell has the chicken bacon ranch. Jaylan Foster, the hook and ladder, which is an awesome pick. We'll see what everybody else comes up with in the future. But appreciate the Columbia Firehouse Subs for sponsoring this virtual lunch with Jaylan Foster. Jaylan, really appreciate your time, man. Good luck the rest of the season. Wishing you a healthy rest of the season, and thanks a lot for doing this.
Oh, yeah. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Jaylan. And we'll see y'all later.